It's a day when there should be bipartisanship, a day when the horrors of October 7 should have been mourned, commemorated on the floor of the House, but there has not been bipartisanship. Let's bring in Andrew Clennell on this. Andrew, where does the fault lie here?
Well, the Coalition proposed a motion on October 7 and they can't come to agreement on mourning that in a motion to the House. It is extraordinary. And as I understand it, the Coalition proposed this motion. Peter Dutton saw Anthony Albanese this morning. My information is Peter Dutton has seen Anthony Albanese more than once this morning to try and get bipartisanship. He just wanted it about the October 7 attacks and the death of those more than 1,000 Jews in those terrorist attacks. And the government wanted to put stuff in, sources told me, about deaths in Gaza and Lebanon. And clearly Anthony Albanese's just gone ahead with that. So just confirming again to you, Kieran, that there have been more than one face-to-face meeting this morning between Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese on this. And Anthony Albanese, in fact, is reported to have mentioned it in caucus as well, that they were trying to reach agreement and they just weren't able to do so. So now the opposition's going to vote it down. So, look, we've known that, it's been bubbling away for several weeks, if not months. The difference on this war in terms of stance between Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese, but nowhere is it clearer today. And Peter Dutton really getting stuck in there, the opposition leader, saying, you're walking both sides of the street, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Why can't you just do a motion or agree to this motion condemning the October 7 terrorist attacks? This is a pretty controversial moment for the government. I just don't see why they needed to do this, why they needed to alter the motion. Well, we can think about some political reasons why they feel that way. We can think about what Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong perhaps think of the way Benjamin Netanyahu's conducting the war and about a broader regional conflict. But it would seem to me very simple the day after October 7 to just let the coalition motion through and speak to it. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, he's taken a risk, Anthony Albanese, or he's going to bring down some criticism of him with this move. And it just seems to me an unnecessary fight. And I think often you try and avoid the unnecessary fights in politics. They could have done a motion on another day in relation to other aspects of the war, but it's the day after October 7. At the same time that the Prime Minister and the Premier of New South Wales are saying, don't hold your vigil on October 7 to those other groups involved in the war, he's saying, well, but we have to include that in a motion the following day in the House. So, yeah, it is a big moment for Parliament, I think, on foreign policy.
Well, when you look at a day like today, the first parliamentary sitting after the October 7 anniversary, and that the Parliament, the two major parties, I'm not saying the Greens, we don't know what the Greens are going to do. They could well have voted against it for other reasons.
Well, they'll try and harden up the language.
They're saying the government...
they'll try and change it.
They're saying they're complicit in the genocide, is what Adam Beck
They won't vote for it either.
So you get the Greens and the Coalition voting against it, but this is just this moment, as we are now 6 months out from the next election, roughly. This is an extraordinary moment in foreign policy, but also in the politics of where we are right now. As Peter Dutton talks about moral clarity, he's saying this is the moral clarity we need today. Anthony Albanese's counter-argument is, I need to represent everyone. I need to be the Prime Minister for everyone. But in that, he's being accused of doublespeak.
Well, Jewish people won't like this. It's as simple as that. They'd say, give us this day, this motion. What people in government are telling me is this war doesn't come up in focus groups at all. Australians are worried about cost of living. They're not worried about this fight, thousands of miles away. It will affect cost of living because of the oil price. That's the thing. And I think the Prime Minister's kind of gambling on that. But I just kind of see it as unnecessary, an unnecessary act of dividing himself with the opposition when they would both freely condemn the actions of the terrorists on October 7. Just leave it with that.
Trying to think historically of moments in recent decades comparable to this, and the one that I think...
Iraq War?
Is Iraq War, Simon Crean opposing that. That's the one that, in my mind, is... I can't remember an incident like that since Crean and the Iraq War, where he opposed that. This is an extraordinary day. I'm glad you're here to help discuss it. We'll talk to you a bit later, Andrew, with Politics Now and right throughout the afternoon. But we shouldn't underestimate the significance of what we've just seen in the House of Reps. Andrew Clennell, thank you.